Yes, and pull up a chair, everyone, and welcome back to the Amateur Athlete Podcast right here with more. Now, today, big episode. Cleveland Cavaliers, they're on a massive streak at the moment. We'll talk about that. We're also going to chat about the injuries in the NBA at the moment. How can we fix it? What can we do? Can we do anything about it at all? And we're going to move on to the Illawarra Hawks. I've got a chat with Darius Day's a great chat. You won't want to miss that. And also Chris Goulding, who scored, I think it was something like 45 points for Melbourne United in their win the other night. So stick around and let's get into it. The Cleveland Cavaliers. This has been their best start to their season ever in history, in Cleveland's history. And I think it's maybe the fourth or fifth best start in NBA history by any team in the league. Obviously, the number one spot there was the Warriors. I think it was 15, 16. Well, they went 24-0. But look, to be fair, the Cleveland Cavaliers could pull that off. I highly doubt it, but they could because they haven't looked like losing at all. Their starting five, the Cleveland Cavaliers starting five, we've got Darius Garland, who's been playing absolutely fantastic. He had a great year last year as well. Donovan Mitchell, we know how good he is. You know, he came from the Utah Jazz and he was an absolute superstar there as well. Now, in the three spot, they kind of rotate these two players, Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro. I personally, I like Isaac Okoro. I also like Dean Wade, but maybe, coach likes Isaac Okoro in that second unit a little bit better. So Dean Wade has been getting the start there as well. Now, these two guys, the power forward and the center, Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, I think they're probably two of the most underrated players in the league. They're averaging fucking 20 points, 10 rebounds, whatever it is, their averages are very, very high, and I think they're very underrated. Evan Mobley is only a young fella. Look, Jared Allen, to be fair, is young as well, so they're only going to go from here to here. They're going to be on the up and up. So Cleveland Cavaliers fans, you're in for a heck of a year. And I can't remember who I heard talking the other day. It might have been Darius Garland. He said, look, we're feeling confident. We're feeling great. When we come into the fourth quarter, if we're behind, we're confident we're gonna get back in front. If we're leading by a substantial margin, we're confident that we can hold that lead. So it sounds like the spirits are high in the Cavaliers camp. It sounds like they are a serious contender in this NBA championship for 24-25 because, man, at the moment, it doesn't even look like anyone's going to lose to them. Anyone's going to beat them. And their second unit's coming along great as well. Ty Jerome, he's a bucket getter. Karis LeVert, he's been around the league for a number of years now. Isaac Okoro, who I mentioned before. Georges Niang, he's a great asset to any side. And I also want to mention their coach, Kenny Atkinson. Now, Kenny's been the Warriors' assistant coach for maybe 5, 6, maybe even more years. I don't know. I can't remember how long exactly Kenny Atkinson has been under Steve Kerr at the Warriors. But man, what a mentor. Steve Kerr, all time, probably one of the greatest coaches of all time. Imagine getting mentored by Steve Kerr. And now look what he's doing. He's going out and proving how good of a coach he is. He's obviously learned stuff across years and he's putting it into place here at Cleveland. And I think that is a real testament to Kenny Atkinson's time with the Warriors, a real testament to his coaching ability, to his personality. I hear he's got a great personality. He's a great guy. So I think the Cavaliers are thriving off Kenny's energy, thriving off Kenny's experience because I think Kenny has faith in every single person in the Cavs lineup. So the Cavs 0-12, 12-0, whatever you want to call it. Can they keep it up? I think they will. I want to talk about the NBA injury list, injured players. Now, it seems to me that this first month and a half of basketball has seen a lot of players get injured. People put it down to, injury management, player management, load management, whatever category you want to put that in. But to be fair, it's only been a month and a half of basketball. It's not like they've played 50, 60 games already. They've only played, what, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games to start the season. 12 games. Cavs are 12 and 0, as we mentioned before. But yeah, look, there's been a lot of injuries. There's been a lot of impact injuries to the face. We've had some eye sockets. We've had a couple of noses. But there's also been, the usual ankle rolls. We had Steph Curry out with an ankle. Kevin Durant, I think, is now out with a sprained ankle. But how can how can the NBA, how can NBA franchises fix the amount of players that are getting injured, especially this early into the season? I'd hate to see the amount of injuries we get, after 60, 70 games. Like, seriously, it's a bit scary, to be honest, because we don't want to see, especially the older guys like Steph, LeBron, KD, we don't want to see them injured so early in the season, because we want to see them in the back end of the season. We've had Joel Embiid out for the first however many games. I think he's playing his first game today or tomorrow. We've had, as I said, Steph's been out. KD is now out. Deontay Murray, Scotty Barnes. There's just, Giannis is day to day. Trae Young's out. Like, all our superstars of the game are getting niggles. We've even had players like Chris Middleton who haven't even played a game this year. Like, I'm not sure if it's... I'm not blaming franchise. I'm not blaming coaching staff, but I know the NBA has the best sports scientists, the best rehab trainers, the best strength and conditioners in the world. It's just... I'm not sure if it's a oversight. I'm not sure if it's a player oversight. I'm not sure if players are doing the wrong thing when they're not on the court, when they're not at training, when they're not at practice. Not sure if they're home, if they're at home with an ankle injury, if they're running around chasing dogs, running around chasing children when they shouldn't be on their feet. Look, I know when you want to come home and you're a young dad, you're a dad, you want to spend time, as much time with the kids as possible. But it's... when you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars, you want to be fit, you want to be healthy. The fans want to see you on the court. So I'm not sure if that's a player oversight on their behalf, whether they're doing the wrong thing at home, as I just said. But we need to something needs to change. Something needs to happen, because we don't want to see this. We don't want to see all these players being injured so early in the season. So I'm not sure if you have any ideas. Send me a message. Send me through... DM me on Instagram, DM me on YouTube, whatever, wherever you see this, message me. And if you have any ideas, I'd like to discuss it take it up further with someone. If I can get in contact with anyone from an NBA side, NBL side, even just to discuss injuries, and that'd be awesome. But yes, something needs to be done to be able to have these great players out in the court and playing the game of basketball. Now, the Illawarra Hawks have dropped another game, unfortunately, but they still remain third on the NBL ladder thanks to a great start to the season. I've, over the past 10 rounds, I've been in close contact with Coach Tatum. I've been talking to him every week, and the players as well. And I was at training yesterday, and the vibe was high. They were training very, very hard, working on the things they need to work on. And they just look like a team who wants to succeed so bad, and they're fighting for it. They're working for it. Mason Peatling's in there making speeches, encouraging everyone to, adversity, we're going to get through this. We're going to push through it. And that's what they're going to do, because I believe, as we said earlier in the season, Coach Tatum believes this Hawks team is a top seed. They're a top seed team, and I believe they are. they've been working on the things they need to work on. And I sat down and I spoke with Darius Days this week about everything from the loss against Adelaide to the upcoming game against the Sydney Kings. And I played a little game with him called Beyond the 3-Point Line. Here he is. Take a listen. Double D, tough loss on the weekend at Adelaide. Some lessons learned, but what do you take from the game?
Man, we just have to be better, be able to close out games, execute more on the offense and defensive end. Everybody hit the wall. We just hit ours a little late, and we're going to come back from this. Everyone had their little hiccups in the first early part of the season. So, we're just excited about getting better every day throughout the week and getting ready for Sydney.
Now you're averaging 11 points, 8 rebounds a game. We know there's more in the tank for you. What can fans expect from you in the next couple of weeks?
Man, just figuring it out. Me and coach and a couple guys around the team, and a couple guys in the front office told me, you're going to hit a wall. Sometimes you got to figure some things out. I'm a young player. It's my first time over here in the NBL. It's going to take a couple more games for me to, really understand the league better. I had early success, but it's a small league, so everyone scouts everything you do. So I got to switch it up and put more things in my bag. So I'm definitely excited about this next transition over the FIBA break. But after Sydney, in the second half of the season, it's going to be a different player. I'm going to be more productive. I'm going to take care of my business and take care of what I have to do on the court, and help my team get key wins and hopefully get that championship we've been talking about all season.
Now, you're a beast in the paint, you're a beast on the boards, and I've noticed you love flexing on people in the paint. Is that just a passion-driven thing, or do you just love flexing on bodies in the paint?
It's just passion. I feel like, a lot of guys, play the game of basketball in different ways. I like to express myself with just passion. I like talking, I like flexing. That's how I get myself going, and hopefully I get my team going. Early on in a couple games, you've seen a lot of the guys, flexing and barking on defense and offense. But we got to get back to that dog mentality that we had early in the season. I'm not going to say we got complacent or got comfortable, but we've been sitting at the top of the league the whole season. So little adversity helps. It's going to help us, propel us to where we need to be, and as a team where we need to be in execution. So, this little patch we're going through right now is going to help us in the long run, and, we're going to be battle tested. That time we played in Adelaide and, we just lost. That was a hostile environment. We had a good game plan, good scouting report, but, sometimes we got to execute more than we did in the game. So, we're definitely excited about these next coming up weeks.
Now, taking on Sydney this weekend. Last time you met Sydney, you got the win up in King's territory.
Correct.
Now, there was a bit of a fiery clash between, was it yourself and Cam Oliver? Mm-hmm. What can we expect this weekend? More fireworks from you two?
Fireworks. If Cam, you see this, I enjoy playing you. You, Montrez, we just bring a different love to the game, a different passion to the game, and we like to get the crowd involved. We like to bring the energy. When we get going, the crowd gets more feet into it. So me getting pumped up against Cam, me getting pumped up against Montrez, also Jack White as well. Us getting pumped up against each other kind of helps the game in the long run, but we're definitely excited to play against each other.
It's time for Beyond the 3-Point Line.
We see you in the warm-up, headphones on, jamming away, jacking up threes. The people want to know, what are you listening to pre-game? What's your go-to song pre-game?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I got a couple. I like to listen to a little slow jams. Ooh, yeah. I listen to a little Anita Baker. Oh. I listen to a little, Prince here and there. I got a very, my music taste is all over the board. I listen to a little Chris Brown, and then I go to some Gunna. Damn. And then, I like listening to slow music before the game because, I'm so amped up in the game. It's like I want to be, smooth, like at the beginning of the games, and then when the games start to get closer, I amp it up. Yeah. So, I like listening to slow music, early 2000, R&B, 90s R&B, I listen to the Isley Brothers. I listen to those guys. I just like different music.
Now, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Ratatouille.
Oh, Ratatouille.
Elite.
I didn't pick you for that.
Yeah, Ratatouille is my favorite movie. It's just about a little guy that came from a little mouse or a rat, however you want to call it, came from nothing. He wanted to be a chef, and he made his dreams come true in the end.
Damn. All right, now, if we look into your phone right now and go through your contacts, who's the most famous person in your contact list?
Nas Reed, Cam Thomas,
Damn.
Trendon Walford.
Is that purely from playing with them, playing against them, or you know them from outside of basketball?
Actually, Nas Reed is my best friend.
Yeah.
We also went to LSU together. We played against each other in AAU or travel ball in the U.S. We've been knowing each other, but we didn't actually get to know each other until we went to LSU together. And then, it was, if that was your girlfriend, it was kind of love at first sight. But, if you've seen him, you've seen me. If you've seen me, you've seen him.
Yeah.
So, shout out to the Timberwolves, shout out to Nas, and also shout out to the Brooklyn Nets, shout out to Cam and Trendon. So, shout out to those guys.
Good luck on the weekend against the Kings, mate, and go out there and smash it.
For sure. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Lastly, I just want to touch on one of the veterans of the league, Chris Goulding. Now, he came out the other night and had a game for the ages. He was just on a heater. He was hitting everything. He couldn't miss. Let's just have a look at the stats here. Chris Goulding, 32 minutes, 46 points. And he did all this at a 50% field goal percentage. What? That is crazy. He had 7 of 11 from the field in the 2-point range. In the 3-point range, he was 9 of 21. He was shooting that thing hard, which is understandable. If you're on fire, you're going to shoot that thing from downtown. So, man, Chris Goulding, he had 5 for 5 free throws at 100%. Like, man, he was on fire. I watched the highlight. I didn't actually watch the game live. I watched the highlights and I was like, holy heck, this guy is 36 years old and he's still coming out and having 46-point games. Like, if I look at the rest of the stat sheet here, the rest of the box score, the next highest guy for the Melbourne United side was 13 points. 13 points. He had 43 of... What was their total score? The total score was 106 points and he had 43 of them. That's almost 50%. That's almost half of the total score, man. Chris Goulding is such... He's been a great player for a long time, and to come out and do what he did the other night is special. I think that it might even be his career high, 46 points to be fair. He even when CG retires, I hope he stays around the Melbourne United camp and mentors these young guys coming through, because he's experienced a lot. He's been in the Boomers squad. He's played at a very, very high level. So CG, man, if you see this, you're a freak. You're an absolute freak, and I love it. Keep it up. And I hope Melbourne United make a great run, because they are an unbelievable side. They've got Matthew Dellavedova. There's another guy with great experience. He's played in the NBA. He's played with LeBron James. He's been to a few teams in the league. So they have a great coach, and they've got, especially those two players I mentioned before, mentoring the young guys coming through. Whew, they're going to be a tough team to beat down the stretch.